So, sleep deprivation or a lack of sleep has been identified as one of the main contributors to our weight and to the obesity epidemic. So, for those of us that clearly don't get enough sleep, including myself, does that mean if we fix our sleep schedule and get a quality night's sleep, that we'll be able to fix our weight issue? Well, let's find out. Welcome back to the program, you beautiful people. My name is Dr. Dan. I'm a pharmacist turned obesity expert. And before we dive into all things that are sleep, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so that you don't miss another episode. As well, check me out on my other channels at the official Dr. Dan. And of course, check out my website, healthevolve.co, where you can book a consultation with myself to see if you are a fit for our program along your weight management journey. It's quite funny that I'm going to be talking about sleep and its importance here today because I am definitely the poster boy of sleep deprivation. Unlike my wonderful, adorable little nephew here, who is an absolute champ when it comes to getting enough sleep, I am quite terrible. Me and sleep deprivation, well, we go way back as old friends. Fortunately, I have been better, or a better way of saying it is that my body has essentially forced me to be better as I reached my 30s. It pretty much said, yeah, F you, we are not going to go without sleep anymore, and you are for sure going to get lots of sleep now. So I do try to aim for at least 7 hours of sleep a night. If I could get more, that would be all the much better. But 7 hours is kind of my current target that we are starting to get. However, I still do not obviously get that amount of sleep sometimes, and at those points in times, I am an inconsolable child. But I am not alone in my struggle, as based on research from the National Sleep Foundation in the US of A, it's found that about 1/3 of adults in America do not get enough sleep at night. And really, that's quite a terrifying number if you think about the effects that it may have in terms of causing us to gain weight and making weight loss that much more challenging. But how does sleep deprivation lead to obesity? Well, the first thing that tends to occur is that when you are sleep deprived, we get a shift in your appetite regulatory hormones. In particular, we see a rise in a hormone called ghrelin, which is your main hunger hormone, so it tells you I am hungry. The higher that level is, the hungrier you're going to be. And we also get a decrease in one of our satiety or fullness hormones called leptin. So basically, we're getting the best of both worlds at either ends of the hormone spectrum. Ghrelin goes up, leptin goes down, and so our appetite and hunger ultimately increases. I mean, if you've ever been sleep deprived at any point in time, I'm sure you can reflect on how throughout the day, all you were craving was the high sugar, fat, and salt foods. You didn't have a craving for a plate of broccoli or anything in that sense. And that's because, well, your appetite regulatory system is all out of whack, just like you probably feel because you're sleep deprived. And so when we've got that going on, the next thing that likely happens is you're going to overeat and overconsume calories that day in order to try and make up and trying to correct the fact that you're sleep deprived and wanting more energy and such like that. And if the calories that you are consuming are going to reach a greater or higher amount than the calories that your body burns, well, over time, you will gain weight. Next thing that happens when we are sleep deprived, if you are anything like me, you probably have some good friends in your life that may describe you with colorful words that start with B and A and other such things like that. And that's because, well, our sleep ultimately affects our mood and our well-being. We get more easily stressed out, we have a higher level of anxiety, and overall, we have less cognitive capacity to make mindful choices throughout the day. And this not only applies to how we might treat people throughout the day, but also the choices of snacks and food that we eat. And most of us ultimately engage in some level of emotional eating in order to try and make ourselves feel better. And if you think about it, no plate of broccoli is going to come even close to a plate of fries or maybe a chocolate bar in terms of making us feel better kind of scale. The next really kind of scary thing that can happen is that some research has even shown that sleep deprivation can actually slow down your metabolic rate, or how many calories you burn by simply existing. So if we combine a reduced metabolic rate with this increased drive to eat more high sugar, high calorie foods and such, what do you think is going to happen? And this isn't even taking into account that maybe you're in a calorie deficit right now, maybe you're working towards a weight loss goal or what have you. If we then stack that on top of it, where you're already tired, you're already cranky, you're already wanting to eat more food and stuff, add in some sleep deprivation there, well, we're going to get a recipe for disaster. Like I said, getting maybe 1 or 2 nights of bad sleep probably isn't going to be that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It's really going to be more of an issue when you're chronically getting a poor night's sleep or not getting enough sleep. As for the causes of sleep deprivation, there are a lot of different things that can occur, including things like sleep apnea and such, which are ultimately going to be out of the scope of this video here today, but I'll be sure to follow up with more topics down the road. Nonetheless, what I want to provide for you here is just kind of some quick, simple, easy tips that you might be able to start implementing in your life to start getting a better night's sleep and ultimately helping you on your health and weight management journey. Number one thing that you want to look at is getting yourself on a consistent sleep schedule. I cannot stress this one enough. Your body has an internal clock called your circadian rhythm. You've probably heard of that. When that internal clock gets thrown off, when you say stay up by a couple of hours on Friday and Saturday and sleep in by a couple of hours, well, you get a condition that we call social jet lag. It's like you flew somewhere that was 2 hours ahead and flew back for Sunday. And suddenly Sunday night, your body is trying to go to sleep at, say, your 9 p.m. bedtime because you got to work in the morning, but it doesn't want to. It's used to staying up a little bit later. So then that ultimately affects your overall sleep quality for Sunday night. Come around to Monday morning, you're used to sleeping in again, so you want to sleep, you're sleep deprived. Monday starts off pretty darn poopy, and then you get up into Monday night. Probably a little bit better because you're getting back on that normal schedule and routine and you're probably quite tired, but it's not going to be great. Flip around, you get to Tuesday. Tuesday's even better and probably nearly close to what your regular sleep pattern is, Monday through Friday. Wednesday night's probably pretty spot on. Hey, Thursday night might be even better depending on how you're feeling. And then Friday comes around and, well, you start the cycle all over again. So it's this perpetual hamster wheel, if you will, where you stay up late and sleep in on the weekends, and then come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're trying to make up for it, you correct everything, and then you mess it all up again come the weekend. And I hate to say it, but trying to play catch up on the weekend just does not work. And I know we want to go out and be social and do things on the weekends and stuff like that, but trying to get as close as you possibly can to kind of your normal weekly sleep schedule and routine, or maybe even just going out one night versus both nights on the weekend, may help you to ultimately correct and get a better overall sleep pattern going. The second thing you need to do is stop watching the clock. There's this misconception out there that as soon as your head hits the pillow and as soon as you wake up, that space in between there should be just blackness. There should be nothing that's going to happen. But the reality is that your body goes through sleep stages and sleep cycles. So throughout the night, you go from light sleep to deep sleep to REM sleep, and then you wake up. And then you start that cycle all over again. So it's perfectly natural to wake up multiple times a night, in fact, maybe even every hour on the hour. If you look at my little sleep schedule here captured by my Fitbit, you can see all those little tiny red marks on the top there. Those are all points that my Fitbit detected that I was waking up and moving and shifting in the night, and even some larger points where maybe I got up to go pee, what have you. All of those little shifts and those wake up points, perfectly normal. But what a lot of people do is they become more aware of those waking moments, roll over, look at the clock, and then they stress out, oh my God, I'm not getting any sleep. So they're sitting there stressing, they're waking themselves up, they might fall back asleep, and then they wake up with their natural sleep-awake cycle again in the next hour, look at the clock, stress out some more, and you can kind of see where the pattern's going, but then boom, sleep deprivation. The third thing that you can do to help improve your sleep is exercise. In fact, the one thing that you should be doing to truly improve your overall health, quality of life, all of the above, is going to be exercise. It doesn't matter when you exercise throughout the day. Exercising late at night technically doesn't affect your sleep, but if you're one of those people that's pretty amped up after your workout, you might want to shift it to earlier in the day. But exercise is definitely going to help you to sleep a whole lot better throughout the night. The fourth thing that I'm sure everybody has heard is that you want to try and limit your caffeine and alcohol consumption. In fact, if you can go without either of them, all the better. But if you can't and still want to enjoy a drink or have your coffee in the morning like I do, try and have them as early in the day as possible so that they don't ultimately affect your overall sleep schedule. Number 5, and probably one of the best things that I have implemented personally, is no screens 2 hours before bed. And I know it's quite tempting to scroll through TikTok, in particular to watch all of my amazing videos. Shameless plug, if you will. We're on TikTok at @theofficialdrdan. But definitely being on your screens and stuff can help to amp you up and get you a little bit more awake and not helping your brain detect that it's time to go to sleep and go to bed. It's definitely better to read, color, do anything else besides being on a screen for those last 2 hours before bed. And heck, even better is if you can sleep with your phone in a completely different room for you. If you use your phone as an alarm clock, just go out and buy a $10 alarm clock off of Amazon and use that. That will definitely help to improve your overall sleep quality and in general, get you that sleep that you really need. The next thing should seem pretty obvious, but not always the case, is a comfortable sleep environment. So that means cool bed, cool pillows, sleeping with the window. Maybe you like me and you need the fan going 24/7 all the time. That is the only way to sleep in my opinion. But the optimal temperature for sleep is about 18 degrees Celsius or 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. As well, you spend about a third of your life sleeping, and I highly recommend that you invest in a very high quality bed. There's a lot of really good kind of discount beds out there like ND and such like that, and they're good and they can definitely be helpful, but just making sure that it's what's best to support and help your body is going to have mountains of benefits in terms of helping you to get a good night's sleep. And the final thing to look at here is prioritizing your sleep. I know it seems straightforward, but just like you book appointments through the day, hangouts with your friends, and whatever else, making your sleep a priority and that this is going to be the time that I start winding down at and scheduling it, setting alarms, doing whatever you need to do, but making it a priority versus something that you just hope is going to happen. If that priority isn't there, and certainly wasn't in my situation, you're ultimately not going to follow through on it. It's going to be like, oh, I can stay up for a little bit longer, or oh, we'll do better the next night, or what have you. But you really want to make it a priority because the benefits in helping you to manage your weight is going to be monumental. So overall, sleep and getting a really good night's sleep isn't going to be the panacea of making and helping you with your weight issue and such like that, but it's definitely going to make the process of managing your weight a heck of a lot easier. If we can calm down that whole biological process and help you just be in a better mood on a day-to-day basis, you are going to be successful in not only being more mindful about the foods and things that you're eating, but also having more energy to go and get the activity in that you need. And in general, you're going to enjoy life a hell of a lot more. Now, the above tips that I gave you there, some of them easy to implement. Some of them are very, you can start today in starting to do them. Others, you're going to have to practice, and it's going to take time before you really notice that difference, particularly with, say, setting a constant sleep schedule. It may take up to a month for you to really get on a good, solid sleep schedule and get things kind of up and going and where you want them to be. So making sure that you start slow, making sure you have plenty of compassion for yourself, that you're not going to be perfect throughout the day or throughout every single week or what have you, but taking your time with it, make the small incremental changes like shifting your sleep schedule by an hour, or making sure that no matter what and no matter how badly you sleep, you're getting up at the same time, maybe avoiding napping through the day. All of these are small little things that you can build upon and work towards, and ultimately over time, you can improve your sleep schedule and your sleep quality. That is all for today, you beautiful people. Hopefully that gives you some insight into not only the importance of sleep, but how you might be able to get a good or better night's sleep than what you currently are. Definitely a lot of things to kind of consider. Stay tuned for more sleep videos in the coming weeks here, as I'll talk about a little bit more of the evidence and the effects that it might have on overall weight loss and how much weight you can lose. As well, before I forget, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and check out my other channels at The Official Dr. Dan. As well, check out my website, healthevolve.co, where you can not only get some support and help from myself on terms of getting a better night's sleep and managing your weight, but also lots of great goodies and information is all there too. So until next time, you beautiful people, always remember that small tweaks lead to massive peaks.